Hey guys, welcome back. This is ChosenArchitect, and today, that's right, we're going to be building, and we're also going to be setting up applied energistics and getting all of that luscious autocrafting set up. Hopefully you guys are ready. So today, we're going to be using probably one of the better exchanging tools that I could probably suggest. And I've actually never covered this because this is kind of a newer mod from Direwolf 20. This mod has not been out for very long at all, but we're going to cover the exchanging tool here real quick because I want to start working on some more, building stuff. And I think like I said, the applied energistics room is going to be on the north side. If we take a look at my clipboard here, by the way, you can make clipboards to kind of stay on task. It's kind of a nice thing to do. If we pop this open, you can see I have it set up that I want the north side to be my ME room, the terminal room, or not terminal room, thermal room, and then the Ender IO room to the left. So we're going to try and have our tech machines near our applied energistics rooms simply for automation purposes. And I think that's going to be really nice, so that way we can get things automated, such as alloys, anything like that we might need on the fly. We can get those going, and we can all automate it with applied energistics. Whenever you get these tasks done, you can check them on this notepad here. So it's a really handy tool, and the clipboard is honestly really, really simple to make. So let's go ahead and get started with this. Now, the exchanging gadget has a couple things I want to show you. If we go into controls, you can go into the, not exchanging gadgets, but the actual mod's name itself, which is called building. You can just type build and then hit category. And you're going to see there is a list of different things. This is going to be part of building gadgets. Skip the ones up here. We're going to go here with his building gadgets itself. And there's only 4. You have switch mode, which I'm going to actually change these right here to none, because these are part of the better building wands. We're not going to be worrying about that right now. We're going to worry about this. So I'm going to set mine to the anchor point being, let's do 2. And then for switch mode, we'll set that to 7. That's something that we need to access. And then range is something that's also going to be nice. So I'm going to set this to 4. And then the undo, well, we can simply set that to 1. And we'll kind of have everything on the left side of our numpad. And that'll be easy to remember. So if you want to change mode, you hold down that key that you set for mode, and you have a lot of options here. Now, there are a couple tools in building gadgets. We have a building gadget, exchanging gadget, and a copy and paste gadget. And then this right here is a destruction gadget. A little bit different. This will clear out areas. And then we also have construction paste, which is a nice little paste that you can make, like this, construction block powder, basically allowing you to copy blocks and paste them without actually consuming the blocks. You can just use that. I'm not really going to go over that. We're just going to use the exchanger for right now. Let's go ahead and start working on a block. Like, we need to figure out what kind of block we want for the floor. I want a kind of a dark theme. Normally with applied energistics, they go with a light theme. So if we go with the dark, and Z-Tones has some really cool stuff. Z-Tone, or X-Tones, not Z-Tones, X-Tones, has some really cool, unique blocks that are kind of dark. These in particular were really nice. I was looking at that Corp block, which I thought was really nice. And I think mixing it with this Crypt block would be really nice. So Corp and Crypt are some really cool looking things that I think we could get together. Now, the Corp block, we need to figure out what we're going to do for the floor. And I'm thinking some of these have connected texture, some of them don't. But we need to figure out which ones we want to use. And we'll probably use a mixture of them. So this Crypt block actually looks really nice. We need to figure out exactly which one it is. Okay, so it's this, which means we need to take some of those Z-Tone tiles, which we need stone, in order to make this stuff. And I would love to have it in here, stored away. The way you start making these Z-Tones is like this. Or X-Tones. I don't know why I keep saying Z-Tones. It's X-Tones. But yeah, we need to kind of make a bunch of this. Now, this one is not actually EMCable, but once you utilize them, so let's get some dirt. Guess we put everything in here, so it's understandable that it's in here. Once we put it in here, and give it an actual texture. As you can see here. Oh, I guess it doesn't have EMC. I thought it did have EMC. We might not use it if it doesn't have EMC. That's going to be... I mean, we can. So, that's where I guess automation will come in handy. But I figured these would have information on them. So yeah, this is not a very pleasant looking block by no means. So let's see. If you hold shift and you use your scroll wheel, you can change the texture of them. And that's where I thought it would be good for, you know, potentially using this as a floor. But I don't know. Now that I know it's not EMCable, I might not use it. So out of all the Z-Tone or X-Tone stuff, I don't know why I keep saying Z-Tone, I ended up finding a few things that are that are EMCable. So I'm going to be utilizing some of these. I really like these actual dark blocks here. And I think these would be a good replacement for the wall. And these kind of have a texture on them. You can't really see until you look directly at them. But you kind of see that there is like a tiled texture. Almost checkerboard-ish. Won't be very visible on camera. Of course, when walking around, that'll be very, very unlikely that that'll show up. And then you also have these tank blocks that I think also look really good. And kind of have a nice texture to them. And yeah, I think these are going to be pretty nice. These actually have several different rotations. So if you hold shift and scroll wheel, of course you can rotate through all the different textures. And this is one that I really like, especially for like a wall texture. So we might be utilizing some of these. Just kind of throwing those out here that we probably will. So in here I will be utilizing my night vision helmet just to kind of help us see. But let's go ahead and start changing things. So if you hit the key that you've assigned to change your range, you can see that this thing can go quite large. Yeah. So we can actually swap a lot of blocks at one time. So if you go ahead and do that, or actually we need to select the block, right? Let's go ahead and place this, place the block, and then we'll shift right click to select it. You can see now we can replace all of these blocks and then it fulfills, which is kind of cool. The problem is with this thing, unless you put Silk Touch on it, it will only give you cobblestone back, which is not a big problem considering we, you know, have access to this. But yeah, as you can see, this is a pretty cool texture. We are going to have other things in here. This is not going to be plain like that. I would not force you guys to do that. But the good part about this tool in particular is that it doesn't actually go under these blocks. So if I was to replace this here, I don't have to worry about it using like extra material. So like if I wanted to just replace all the floor here, it takes a little bit of time, but I think it's well worth it. And we should see that under here, as you can see, it placed the blocks, and we're good to go. So yeah, I should be able to just place this and not have to worry too much. Just going to remove those blocks and then place them there. Perfect. And yeah, I'm just going to keep doing this. I'm going to make the range a little bit smaller on this side as I go around and complete this. It doesn't really matter if the blocks are underneath. Unless you're using a resource that is very expensive, I would not recommend doing this, but it will save us a lot of time. So while I'm building them, I'm actually working on this. As you can see, I'm starting to get a design down, and I'm trying to figure out what to do with this top layer. And I think I'm going with the Block Craftery stairs. I didn't know Block Craftery was in here. I thought it wasn't in the original release. Maybe they added it without me reading, but I'm so glad it's in here because what you can do is make these frame pieces, and you can pretty much apply any block texture to here. It'll consume the block, and thus change it into that. So you can pretty much make stairs, fence, gates, or not really gates, but fence and stuff like that into any texture, which is absolutely amazing. And I'm really liking this. So I have almost everything done in that room that I want to get decoration-wise. So what I need to do now is actually make these simple lights from the Simply Light mod, which comes from Flanks, a friend of mine, from FTB1, so we're going to be using his mod. It's actually a really, really neat mod, and I really want to try these illuminate fixtures. And it says hang from walls, or you can stick it to the ceiling or floors. But these things are really cool. The dynamic edge lights are really cool as well, and I really want to make some of these. So let's grab some glowstone blocks. I think I have just about everything else that's going to be required for this. So let's see. I'm going to make some of these. I also want to make some of these edge lights. By the way, you need to make a specific type, and then if you want to do the top, if you want to do the top of your room, you can switch these to the edge light top, or you can just craft them and leave them as the bottoms. I'll kind of show you what these guys do. Basically, you can place them like this, and as you can see, this is technically not connected, and that just gives you the ability to break them easier when they're not connected to a block. So he did some good work there. But this is another feature that you can do. You can see it actually connects like that and does emit a good amount of light. And that's what we're going to be utilizing here. Except for I want to use the illuminated fixtures. I want to see how well those act. So I'm going to grab some of those. And you're about to see what I've been working on. Yeah. I've spent some time. So I think this is going to look very, very nice. It's sort of dark. It has a dark theme to it. It's still very, very, very much under work. Like I said, I need more lights in here. And I'm thinking about hanging these lights in a very particular way. I just haven't seen how they look. Okay, so yeah, these are really cool, actually. We can hang these like higher up, maybe. And they look sort of like the emergency lights that you would see. What do they look like when they're hung from the ceiling? Oh, they change into like little spot lamps. And I think it's the same in the floor. Yeah, they turn into these like little lamps. I really like that. So when it comes to applying these on these blocks, how do I want to go about doing this? It is pretty dark. I think that level is acceptable for that. I think having these on the wall, sort of like in this pattern, will be just perfect. And that's just going to provide just enough light. Like I said, I still want this to have a dark theme to it. And so that's really going to allow us to keep that dark theme going on. So I'm going to finish up getting the rest of these lights in, and then we're going to move on from there. So we are at the point where this base is looking absolutely phenomenal. And I went ahead and got my Applied Energistics stuff set up here, but we're going to do some more expansion of our Applied Energistics system. And we're going to get some basic auto-crafting and wireless power or wireless terminal set up. So that way we can access this from pretty much anywhere in our base. To do that, we're going to need a few things. So if we go in here, and we're going to need some ME interfaces. That's just a few things that we're going to need. Of course, some molecular assemblers. We're also going to need to get into... probably up here. We're going to need some of these co-processing units. We're definitely going to need the crafting units. I went ahead and put my ME table, or went ahead and put my went ahead and put my transmutation table up here. Boy, talking today, it's difficult. And then I need to go ahead and get some co-processing units. I'm going to make those. We also probably want 64K storages. So let me grab some 64K storage on here. Also save that. Let's do 64. I'll grab those. Perfect. And probably each of these are going to have 2 co-processing units. And then we might want a crafting monitor. Don't know how necessary that's going to be, but it would just be kind of for looks, really. Let's see. We need ME storage with a level emitter. Awesome. And do we have that? I don't think so. Okay. There's that, and this should definitely get us what we need. Perfect. And yeah, we're going to get some auto-crafting done. This shouldn't take too long to do. What I'm going to do is actually clear this out. This right here is going to go here. We're going to have an area here, and this is actually going to be where our auto-crafting setup is housed. And I may have it protruding just one block. All of this needs to be broken. Basically, I'm going to have it protruding here. And we're going to replace the way this wall looks. Let's go ahead and grab some more of these items. We don't really need the crafting unit itself. But I will go ahead and craft a few of these items. Basically, you need the coprocessor, you need the actual storage unit itself, and you need to hook it up to your system. That's about it to get these actual processing units working. Awesome. So for that, let's go ahead and figure out where we want this. I'm guessing I'm just going to place this probably here. We're going to place 2 of those here so we can see what items are being crafted. We're going to have a processing unit there and there, there and there, and last but not least, a 64K crafting component, which will solve the whole equation, and we'll get our multi-block. Right, so these use a channel apiece. I think I can actually route these in to the channels that we're using over here. So let me grab some cable. We'll do it this way. That'll save us a little bit of time later on. We'll just hook in directly here, so we don't really have to worry about the channels. Look at that. So those are connected, powered. It says devices are now online. We're looking good. All right, so let's go ahead and get this step going. Now, what I'm going to use is a cable going up. It's going to be very simple. I need to color this cable while I'm at it. Let's go ahead and use this. Let's see. We can just add any dye to it. So let's grab some, I don't know, purple. I know I have some purple in here. So let's just make these cables purple. And this will basically force it to not be connected. Purple is definitely not a good example considering how light colored it is. Or how much it's compared to the other stuff. But we're going to hop down here. And I can just connect it like so. I thought if these were different colors. You know what? I know what it is. I know why it's connecting. It's not supposed to, but I think that's only for a specific type of cable. We got ghost blocks built up here. Alright. So, we could use cable anchors. I think I'm going to jump to a different kind of cable. Actually, you know what I'm going to do? I know what I'm going to do. I'm going to change how this whole thing's working here. I'm going to place this one down. And then this is going to be run through here. Is that where I want it? I think it needs to go out more. Like that. So let's run this cable. Unfortunately, we have this going on. I think I can fix that by moving this. So that way our cables don't connect. There are other ways you can do this. You can have dense cables and all kinds of different stuff. We're not going to really need that right now. Our setup is not going to be that spectacular. Just simple. Stuff that, you know, everybody could do. Honestly, you could do this before you even get EMC. It just makes it easier once you have EMC. Alright, is this going to be right where I want it? I think so. Yeah, this is exactly where I want this to be. So this cable is going to run through our molecular assemblers, just giving them power, but we also need the ME interfaces. Now, these are what basically gives everything the items to craft, right? So I'm going to set up like so, I think. Gotta remember exactly how I do this. These all need to be touching. Just trying to make sure that this is how I do it. Or is it crisscrossed, like this? Let me think. Guess it's just trial and error. Just put this thing together and see. So that there. Technically, we could have one here. Oh, I know now. Okay. So yeah, this needs to be interface there. We're going to rotate these back and forth. Just to make it look nice. These will go there. Like that. And we're just going to bounce this back and forth. Just like this. There we go. Put that there. I'm going to leave this area open until here in a second. But we're going to change the way the background looks on this, so it's not so bad looking. One there. There. And I don't know if I can get to the one in the back, but we need another one there. So let's go ahead and grab the cable. We're going to run this cable through. Perfect. And right here. And that's our auto-crafting. Pretty much, in a nutshell. That's all of our auto-crafting right there. So now that we have this all set up, we should be able to now make the IMI pattern terminal, which is going to be our best friend. Go ahead and throw that in there. And we need to kind of break this. That's okay, we'll get all of our stuff back, and we can set this back up. But we'll throw that in there. And then I'm going to have my normal terminal in the front. On the side here, we're going to have the ME terminal. And there is one other terminal that I think I want that lets me see inside of our ME interfaces. Let's see. That should be our interface terminal. There we go. And that should be about it for terminal faces. This thing is just about loaded. I don't think there's anything else we really need on here, so I can go ahead and close this up. Make it look all fancy. There we go. And now we have our nice little terminal set up. Perfect. So, one of the first things we need is patterns. And we probably need to get blank pattern crafting set up, but I'm just going to go ahead and EMC some. So I can make a bunch of patterns. And we can have those patterns stored in here. Perfect. We should be able to access our different assemblers. We have 6 of them, so we have quite a lot of normal crafting stuff that can go on here. And all this is linked to this. So it should all work. But let's go ahead and take a look. Let's go ahead and make something that we want to auto-craft. What could that be? What is something that we really want to auto-craft? I don't know. Let's say wood, logs, something we always do. You know what? A draconic evolution, draconic core, right? That's something we always want to craft. A draconic core. So we'll set that. By the way, I think that this has been updated so that way you don't have to have the items inside of your applied energistics system anymore like you used to for auto crafting. It is now more like refined storage, which is absolutely wonderful. I seen that post on Twitter and I was like, no way did they just do that, but they did. So now you no longer need to have the items or the crafting pattern in there to work. It should just work because let's say we want to make this. I don't think I have any draconic cores in here, as you can see, but it still managed to pull that and actually craft the recipe. Awesome. So let's go ahead and craft that pattern. I guess we can go ahead and do a wyvern core as well. Just make all the cores. We can't do that one, but we can do these. And we can also auto-craft redstone blocks, because usually that's something that you always have to do. And over here, we'll just take them, and we'll just throw them in. And these will basically set in one of these molecular assemblers. It'll automatically input them. I don't know which one. Oh, looks like this one, this bottom one right here. Perfect. Perfect example. And now we can auto-craft that. So I want to craft 10 of those. Do I have enough? Looks like I do. We can look over here. We can see that they're actually being produced, and you can see a little icon demonstrating that. And we're good to go, guys. That's good for auto-crafting. Now, let's get this wireless. I want to be able to set up wireless access to this. Now, it's not too difficult to do. There is going to be a few steps. First, before we even get started with that, we need a security terminal. Yep, a good old-fashioned security terminal. Let's go ahead and search that. I actually prefer the the wireless crafting terminal over actually using the normal terminal because of the way the auto search and stuff works. Works way better, I think. Let's make a normal IMI terminal. I'm going to go ahead and store some of this stuff, because we might need it later on down the road. Right? That's what we needed, right? Oh no, we need an IMI chest. Good old ME chest with Fluix. Good old Fluix crystal. ME chest. You should be able to save that now. And back into Applied Energistics. Bam. ME security terminal. And this is good for a lot of things. If you're playing on a server, you can lock your... Just by placing this down, it completely locks the entire thing down. Your whole system just completely gets locked up. So only the person who placed down the security terminal can access it. It's pretty nice. Is this going to work, or we have too many channels? Okay, it looks like... Okay, it's on. It's online. So it's good. So, yeah, with that applied, we should be able to access... Yeah, there we go. Okay. Yeah, we should be able to access our stuff. Now we can actually get into the wireless. To do that, we need... wireless crafting terminal. So we're going to need to make ourselves this, which we already have a crafting terminal, I think. So we're good there. We just need to make an actual wireless terminal, which requires an ME terminal. We got all these different things that we're going to need. We're going to need a flux pearl, or Fluix pearl, which I think requires Fluix dust, which I thought I had some. I think we're going to need 2 of those. Yeah, 1 for the outside, 1 for the inside. There we go. What all are we missing now? Quartz fiber. Bam. Like, getting this, though, is well worth, like, all the crafting you have to do for it. I have to say, this thing is way worth your time. I'm going to go ahead and take this booster. I'm going to make a couple of them, because I know we're going to need them later on. Let's go ahead and get our dense energy cell. I think I have one. Yeah, I have one. And we need a Fluix pearl. I think we have everything. There it is. Alright, so the item's on the go, but we can make it better by throwing this bad boy here and getting a wireless crafting terminal. Alright, so with that, we need to go back to Applied Energistics, and we need a wireless access point. Just like that. Remember I said we needed another one of those? There we go. Now we have it. So this wireless access point can technically go on this same line, I believe. I'm just going to place it down here and hope that we have enough channels. Device is online, so that means we technically have enough channels. I don't know why I don't have any, like, good way of climbing. There we go. Okay, so inside here we can put some booster cards. I don't know if we have any boosters specifically on us. But we are going to need one. That's going to require ender dust. So let's grab our pulverizer. Place that down temporarily. It's not going to go here permanently, but we are going to get some power going to this. Get some ender pearls crushed up, I do believe that's what it takes. Booster. Ender dust, right? Pulverizer. Ender pearl. Gives you ender dust. Turn this on. There we go. And that should be it, I think, for these booster cards. We really don't need that much of a booster card because we're going to have infinite range upgrades very soon. So just put those in. And then next thing, to get this all to work, is place your security terminal in here. That will link it. Then you can just close this whole thing up. And now you have access to all of your stuff wirelessly. And I love this because we can do JEI synchronized keep. And if you search here, it also searches up here, so they're both linked. And I love that way better. Also, another thing, you can go into controls, wireless. I like to set this to F. And basically it's setting a hotkey. So this can be inside its bobble slot. And then you can F on your keyboard without having it in there, and you can just pull up your crafting just like that. Really, really cool to do that. So there we go. I can't wait to get the thermal stuff set up. We're just basically working on getting Applied Energistics fully done, so that way we can work on this stuff later. But yeah, this is working out perfect. Now, our Infinity booster cards, right? We should have a bunch of them. Infinity booster cards. We can pull stacks upon stacks out of here. We have so many. They're going to last so long. And what you need to do with these is basically just dump them in here. And as you can see, it's going to store so many of these. I think you can set this here, auto consume booster cards, to set it to automatically consume booster cards if they're in your inventory. So yeah, that's something you can also do. So booster, and you can see it's automatically consuming them as we put them in here. So pretty much we won't ever have to worry about needing range for this, because these booster cards give you infinite range and cross-dimensional range. So yeah, it's pretty insane. But I think this is absolutely looking amazing, guys. I hope you're enjoying this Let's Play. And I hope you guys are enjoying some of these build things. I put a lot of work into these builds. I think today I spent several hours, over 6+ hours, just building. So yeah, just keep that in mind. A lot of work goes into these. And I plan on doing more of them. This is just one of our rooms so far. And that's only one subsection of one of these rooms. It is going to be crazy when we're done. I'm super excited about this project. But anyways, guys, I hope you enjoyed today's episode. If you did, don't forget to click that subscribe button if you haven't already. And also give this video, guys, the biggest thumbs up you've ever given a video. Hit it as hard as you can. And guys, I'll see you in the next episode. As always, thanks for watching.